Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market preparation video for August 6th, 2018. Well, hey everyone, we had a nice little move back up as those bulls defended support levels, kind of coming in and pushing up, but we do have a little bit of trouble to be concerned about. First, we have resistance, and I know it's real hard when you look at a chart like this and say, gosh, we were bullish on Friday. The futures are pushing up this morning just slightly, and we want to just plain be bullish. And I get that. I do understand that. But it's really, really important that we take the time to remember that resistance is there because we have had failure at this level. So we want to watch that as we approach resistance. Hey, I wrote a blog this morning. I write a blog every morning. And if you've never gone over and visited the blog, you might want to take a minute. In the description of the video, there is a link back to the blog. I wrote about this morning, how important it is to have the discipline and have a set of rules that protect you. And one of those rules that protects me is I'm really, really careful when I see a market or a stock pushing up toward a resistance level. I'm really careful about adding additional risk. And you can go over there and read that blog if you're interested in it. But we are pushing up toward that resistance level, and there's a little bit of caution that should be applied to that. Not just running for cover. I don't think, and I don't want to see this fail here. I just think the possibility does exist that we could at least consolidate across here, and a pullback would not be out of the question. So you want to be careful at adding a bunch of positions or over trading as we push up here toward this resistance. If we take a look at the SPY, we have the same situation. We're pushing up. Now we have a better situation here. We did hold this support level, and that's bullish for the market, but we want to be a little bit careful. We see the diamonds pushing toward resistance. We have the SPY pushing up here toward resistance. And so we want to be careful about adding too much risk, because wouldn't this be the exact place where we could see a failure occur? Now, that doesn't mean it has to just die from here. That failure could be just nothing more than a pullback to create a very common pattern, that W bottom in a chart. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt. I'm not suggesting failure here. Please understand that. I'm not suggesting failure at all. In fact, I want to see the markets push on through, but I will approach the morning with just a little bit of caution as we move into a resistance level. Okay, let's take a look at the Qs. And the Qs also did a really good job of holding on to this important support level here, bouncing up off of there. But we need to recognize that we pushed right up into resistance. And depending on how you drew your trend line of the current trend, we could be pushing up to test the entity side of that trend line as well as those highs. So as we push up here toward these highs and we rally up here, we have to have a little bit of caution how we approach that market. We certainly don't want to be over trading at the point of resistance. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM has the same situation percolating here. We're pushing up against our trend. You can see the way I've drawn these trends in here, and you may draw them completely different. That's okay. But we're pushing up toward these resistance levels, and we've had multiple failures here in IWM that would be a little bit of caution. So we want to watch that closely as we approach. Now, the question might come, okay, so where do you get comfortable with the trade? Well, I get a lot more comfortable in the trade when I actually see the bulls push on through. When they push up through here and hold a level of support and then move up. That's what I want to see. But I always have a problem, and I always want to be cautious when I see a market break support and then push right back up, because that's where failures can occur. I'm not suggesting it will, only that the possibility does exist. So be careful with how you plan your risk going into this morning. Let's take a look at the VIX. One good sign is that the VIX is showing us a tremendous lack of fear. Trying to break down this support on Friday, ended up holding on there just barely, but definitely not showing a significant amount of fear, or fear even creeping in. We had that little bit earlier last week when the trade war fears popped up, but since then we've kind of settled that back down. There's very little fear here in the market. Let's take a look at T21. 22. T21-22 is the 4-week new high, new low ratio. There's nothing fancy about this. But I want you to notice that what we've been doing is just really doing a lot of chopping around in here. And when we chop back and forth like this, it can be a really challenging market. And particularly if you're relatively new, you enter a trade and just immediately get chopped out and goes the other direction. It chops you out that way as well. And we're seeing a lot of that swing back and forth here. So be really careful how much risk you have in the market. But let's keep in mind we have plenty of room to the upside. The bulls could take control, move us to the upside. We also have plenty of room to the downside. So anything is possible in here. There's no real clues in T21-22 other than we have the flexibility. We could go either direction. So we need to be very focused on price action and not leaning too heavily to a bias until we get some clarity in our direction. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's take a quick look at the economic calendar. Nothing on the economic calendar today to be really of any consequence, any worry. We don't have, as you can see, anything on here that would be a major market moving event. So not much going on here on today's calendar. On the earnings calendar, however, we have a lot going on. Over 200 companies reporting today. Those earnings are coming in fast and furious. You can see the futures at one point were pushing up very positively in the pre-market. Now we're basically flat on the morning open. So, hey, there's just a lot of so shall I say tentativeness in the market as we approach this resistance. And so be really careful about just piling in to a whole bunch of risk here, just in case. Watch that price action closely and be very focused on that price. And hey, with that, everyone, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I really don't want to see this market roll over. I want to see this market power on through, but we want to be focused and prepared for that. And that's what the purpose of these videos are. These videos are not meant to give you any direction. They're meant to just take an unbiased look at that market, what the index charts are showing us, and how we should approach the day. So if you find these videos helpful, please do me a favor. Click on the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop a comment. I really do appreciate it. Remember, guys, I have a lot of free training information on the YouTube channel. And by the way, I don't make money from these videos. There's no ads on these videos. So please feel free to partake as much of that as you want, and invite your friends. I do appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome day. Be safe. We'll talk to you all very, very soon, bright and early Tuesday morning. Have a good one.